You're tuned in to the Binge It Babe podcast with your host, me, Candace Estelle. All right, babes, let's get binging. Hey, hi, hello, and how are you? It is October 11th, and we are doing the Addams Family and the Addams Family values today. And if you're wondering, why did I put these two movies together on the same day when I have other sequels split apart? The answer is because I can. Also, because both of these movies together are only 180 minutes, so they're also not very long. Later on, we'll do Scooby-Doo, and both of those will be on the same day as well, because, again, they tend to be a little bit shorter. Whereas Babysitter and Babysitter Killer Queen, both of them, well, the second one, a much longer film, and I think I wanted to, save them day by, you know what? Because I can. That's the answer to a question nobody asked. So, Addams Family. I love Addams Family in general. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's such a new agey, blah, blah, blah. It's not. The concept came from Mr. Addams in 1938. It's supposed to be this counterculture American family where they are very into the macabre and they're affluent and strange, but tend not to notice anything about anything around them. They don't realize that they don't fit in and they're strange and nobody likes them or understands them. And I love that. I also love that because it's counterculture, we have a husband who adores his wife and treats her well, and a wife who adores her husband. And, it's weird to think that the family that's supposed to be the antithesis of what an American family is actually something most of us, I think, would value, which is people who love each other and treat each other well enough. And, they're always up to something in terms of murderous plots, but they're not, or plots, but they're not they're not actually murderers. They're not evil. It's just oh, if that's how you're going to play, silliness. So I don't know. I find it heartwarming. It's also a little sad to know that counterculture is a man who loves his wife and is nice to her. But that's the 30s for you. So skidoo, what do we do? It started as a comic, and then there was a TV show in the 60s, and so we've had plenty of renditions of the Addams Family. The 30s, the 60s, the 90s, today, because we've got Wednesday. We've got a couple of Addams Family cartoons as well now. So it's popular. It's a popular franchise, and it's been going for almost decade is wrong. What's the big one? You can get there. Almost 100 years. But what is century? A century. I couldn't remember the word century. Ha ha ha. Anyway, so it's been going for almost a century, and it's just as beloved, I think that's really cool. It's probably more beloved now because not only do you have a nostalgia factor, but we also have this appreciation for people who maybe are a little strange, fitting into the norm isn't as much a thing, nor does it really exist as much. Whereas in the 30s, that was very much so you get in line and you stay in line. You see, you do what you're supposed to do and you always do it. And there's nobody's gay and nobody's a lesbian and nobody else is anything. And all you are is exactly what you're supposed to be. And that's all you can do and all you can do. See? And that's why everybody was drunk and died young. That's the 30s. Oh my gosh. I could do that voice all day, every day. It cracks me up and I don't know why. So we've got the Addams Family. We've got Gomez and Morticia, which are the mom and dad. That's Raul, Julia, and Angelica Houston. And then we've got everyone's absolute favorite Addams child, Wednesday. And the films we're talking about is played by Christina Ricci. And we've got her brother, Pugsley. And I honestly don't know who he's played by because I forgot to look it up. So sorry, dude. Person, whatever you are at this point in your life. Don't remember. And then we've got Christopher Lloyd, who plays Fester, which is Gomez's brother. And, then we've got little odds and ends around, Thing, which is a hand, and I do not know whose hand it is. And we have Lurch, which is their butler type situation, which is kind of funny because, leaving someone in a lurch is a thing. It's a phrase. It means leaving someone in a bind. I just think that's a funny little play on words. Whatever, moving on. So this first one is adorable to me They're both adorable. The first one is Addams Family, and Fester has been missing for a very long time. Like, he's been missing, and then all of a sudden he appears at the Addamses' estate with the Addamses like accountant. And basically the Addamses accountant, lawyer or whatever, he's just like this slimy little weasel. And Gomez totally trusts him. Because why wouldn't he? He has no reason to think anything different. And the guy realizes that the Addams have lemula, like they rolling in the dolin, they have gold and like treasure in their house. And he's like, I need you to pretend to be Fester because you look a lot like him, because it is him. And then you're going to take the family house from Gomez and we're going to split all the money. And if you're thinking, if it is Fester, then why would he do this? Fester had an accident and basically lost all of his memories at some point, and then has been living with this lady who was pretending to be his mother. And so he has no idea that he is Fester. I don't even know what his actual, like, his character name is. He doesn't know. So he legitimately thinks he is like running this con. He's not doing it out of malice. He's doing it because the people he trusts who are around him have told him that that's what he needs to do. And he's like, oh, okay. And then as time comes along, like, Morticia's suspicious of it being Fester because he has no memories, and he keeps claiming that he knows he's Fester, but he doesn't remember anything, instead of just being like coma brain, Am I right? Which probably isn't something to wink about. So Morticia is kind of like, and then you've got Wednesday, who's just always creating havoc, like with the lawyer, with the lady who pretends to be his mom. You've got Pugsley, who's like getting into trouble. I think Wednesday also protects Pugsley, which I think is really cute. Like, she'll mess with him, but it's not bullying. It's just kind of how they behave, and I think that's really interesting and adorable. And I can't remember because I watch stuff like back to back so quick. I think it is the first one. It's this one where we get the wonderful scene of Wednesday having gone to camp and being forced to be in a play about the pilgrims. And just, I think she sets the whole place on fire at some point. It's so funny. But there's also that blonde girl who just annoys the crap out of me, who I think they're learning how to swim, and she's volunteering to be the victim, like the person that needs to be saved. And she's like, I'll volunteer, I'll be the victim. And then Wednesday goes, yeah, for the rest of your life. And then I don't know why. That is just like the best burn ever. It's so good. And yeah, I think this is also the one where Wednesday is with oh, what is his name in real life? I don't remember his name in real life, okay? Once again, I'm sorry, but it's the guy who plays Bernard the elf in the Santa Claus movies, and it's also the guy who is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's best friend in 10 Things I Hate About You. But he's little, because so is Christina Ricci, and he has a crush on her, and it's adorable. It's so cute. Um, so I think this is also, I know at least one of them is where we get the really great line of like, oh, Wednesday's going through that phase every young girl has where she's thinking about only one thing. And then the mom is just like, boys. And Wednesday goes, homicide. And I was just like, oh, I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. It's, so, I don't know. It's great. It's fantastic. Um, so what am I talking about? I remember. I lost it. So that's the first one. Is Fester really his brother? We do find out that the lawyers were like crooked, and it is Fester. He gets his memories back. Everything goes back to normal. Now the family is like even closer, and it's so great. And then in Addams Family Values, it's a little bit more internal what's going on, which is that Wednesday and Pugsley end up getting a new sibling, and they're not happy about it. So they keep trying to kill him, which you're like, whoa, that's dark. But not really, because it's the Addams Family, and for some reason, like, they're they weren't, I don't think they're supposed to be superhuman or like actual monsters or something, but they are. Like, I don't think if they like chopped his leg off. I think they legit would Frankenstein sew that mofo back together. So it's not actually things to be worried about. And this movie, I think, is more fun than the first one because we get Joan Cusack as the nurse, and she's supposed to be like taking care of the children and taking care of the baby, and she ends up also being a con woman and convinces Fester to fall, like falls in love with her, and she doesn't love him. She's completely homicidal and a raging maniac type of thing, and she wants to kill the whole family so she can have the fortune because that's a big thing. And Fester's super in love with her, and she's like, oh, and like just a total con woman through and through. But what's kind of funny is because she's actually kind of evil, she does kind of fit in with the Addams family. They're not evil, but they don't really care about her darkness. The problem is that she doesn't actually care about Fester. She just wants to steal their money and to run away with it. I think her name is Debbie. Um, and it's really funny the juxtaposition of having this movie where like the Addams family, who are all like incredibly pale and dark hair or wearing black, just no contrast. You could watch it in black and white and not know the difference. And they're the protagonist, and the antagonist is Debbie, who's Joan Cusack, who's like this bright, cheery, pink cheeked nurse with like blonde hair, and and she's the bad guy, you know? I think that's really funny. I don't know. I think it's really funny. Both of these movies are nostalgia classics, like they are fun. I think Christina Ricci has done a lot of roles, like a lot of roles, and she is still incredibly well known for something she did as a child, which is being Wednesday Addams. She's so well known for it that she reprises a role in the Wednesday TV show that just came out a few years ago. And um oh shoot, not and. Also, yeah, also is best. Also, she is in Yellow Jackets, and she plays an absolutely Misty is like that girl nuts. Okay, that girl nuts, no bolts, nothing is screwed down in that head, and she is phenomenal. I am into it. Christina Ricci does such a good job at just being absolutely bizarre. Okay, she cracks me up so much. Um, I do enjoy these movies, but I don't like. No, I wouldn't say I'm like, oh, I don't really like them. It's just nostalgia. I like them. I like them. I think they're fun. I have a hard time with not understanding the background enough because this did come from like the 30s. So the story is just like counterculture American family. And now it kind of morphed by the time it hit the 90s where they kind of seem almost superhuman, like I said, but they don't explain it at all. And I just wish I had backstory like, what are they? Because they're not really human, but they are. But they're not, but they are, I would really love it if we also got like a Morticia, I don't know, like a Morticia Gomez only storyline. I know we have the Wednesday show, so we're getting a lot of Wednesday centric things. But Gomez and Morticia, like, if that's not the love story that you want, where they're just completely in love and infatuated with each other at all points in time and loudly in love, not like, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend, but like loudly, that's my woman, that's my man. Or you know what? If you're gay, or a lesbian. I feel like lesbians fall under the gay umbrella, but you have your own words. So I'll use your own word. Lesbian, whatever. Whatever. That's still a relationship to emulate because it has nothing to do with their genders. It has to do with how they treat each other, right? Both of them. Madly in love, never looking around, none of that cheating nonsense, and just like dancing with roses in their mouths, tangoing in love 20 plus 30, who cares, years. Just I love it. I love it, and I hope one day to have a passion as deep and real as Gomez and Morticia. That is couple goals to me. And yeah, I think they're fantastic. Like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, Harley and the Joker," and it's like, he's abusive to her in all the ways. Not good. Not good, guys. Emulate people who treat each other well, not just because there's chaos. Chaos isn't love. Okay. Here we go once again, where I'm therapy, Candace, for on accident. Chaos isn't love, though, okay? Don't confound the two. Don't decide that just because you're dealing with a trauma or you're going through a trauma with someone or someone does trauma unto you, that you have to be with them or to stay with them or that the chaos equals passion. Passion and chaos can have some overlapping, but they're not the same thing. Don't waste your 20s with someone because of that, or your 30s or your 40s or any part of your life. Go find someone who loves you and the passion is also safe. It's like the ocean, on a good day where it's lapping back and forth and it's moving around and it's fun and it's joyous. Don't choose a day where the tide pulls out and it turns into a tsunami. Okay? Choose Gomez and Morticia for couple goals for life. 2024, but also forever, probably, because they're perfect. And by the way, Angelica Houston, a fantastic Morticia. But Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia is like the best casting I've ever seen. Okay, both of those women are doing that job perfectly, and I'm so here for it. There's no competition. It's not like she's better, she's better. Doesn't matter. They can both exist on the same plane and both be fantastic. I'm just saying that because I'm not talking about the TV show Wednesday, I wanted to bring up that Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia is also phenomenal casting. Good job, Tim Burton, or whoever does the casting. I said my piece. Go have a wonderful day, okay? Enjoy the nippiness of the air. Go get a pumpkin. Go get something that brings you joy that's autumnal, okay? Is it a pumpkin spice whatever? Is it a scone? Is it a piece of pizza? Is it taking a run? Is it whatever you want? Go bring yourself a little bit of joy. I did it. That's why I talk to you guys. It brings me joy. So you go do the same for yourself. And if you're thinking, that's selfish, no, it's not. You're on a plane, you got to put your mask on before you can help anyone else's. So put your mask of joy on and then go spread that shit around. See you tomorrow.